coming out that literally looks like blood.
It does.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's not yours.
Just got to check. Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got our cameraman back in the house. We're all ready to go. So just recently I received the barrel of a pink Bloodwood, but this material is absolutely stunning. But firstly, how and why this was a bit of a struggle to start with, this little lump here. So this one here is, 580 mil in length, 22, probably 23 inches long. And whenever you process something, you want to go when you come down the log to mark it up where to cut it, but this was already cut before I received it. But you go down the log sort of the diameter of what your lathe can handle, in a sense. So we'll just take the maximum out of this and process it down. But why this log, this little chunk in particular, is a good one to talk about is because on this side, hinge Damo.
Here I am.
On this side, it's pith just here. So that's our pith there. We've got this crack running down here, and then this one just running across here. And now, when I went to the other side, which was the interesting part of we'll just wait for our cameraman. So on this side, we've got two piths. So this at one stage was a union. So there was two sort of branches or leaders coming off. Then that proposed another question, because originally I just identified the pith on the other side, rolled the log, but then I saw this. So all right. So I've marked up this section here that needs to come out. So we'll probably take it, for example, from there and there. But those two cracks on the other side actually lined up with this one here. So the main one, which was the deepest one, running through the pith on the other side, that lined up there. And the other one, if you remember, running like somewhere across it, that was a superficial crack. So if we can cut this main section out here, that should hopefully avoid any future cracking. The thing about any eucalyptus is it's quite temperamental, so you need to move quite quickly. Even I've sealed the end grain here just with some PVA wood glue, a little bit watered down because I wanted it to soak in a fair bit. And that's been sitting here for about, say a fortnight, and it still has cracked slightly. So if you show them that one, Damo, that one there, this one here has started to open up. But I'll give you another quick little thing that I do, and I learnt this little trick off Mike Mahoney. So Mother Nature has given us this big sort of crack here, and if you can see, that sort of halves this bit of barrel, this bit of timber here. So we work with what she gave us, and if we go to the other side, you'll see that same crack is there. We've also got this other one running on the outside, but that main one mirrors the other side, and we've only got the one pith running straight through. So I would roll this log till that crack run vertically, and then use that to guide our saw straight down the center.
Gives you cut line.
There's your cut line, exactly. Yep. It's just stunning material. I can already see how it's got a fair bit of sap running through, but you can really see that we've got the bark layer here. I'm pretty sure it's called the cambion.
You're telling the story.
Cambion layer. And then we've got the nice hard timber running on the inside there. So yeah.
It is beautiful, and I dibs some offcuts.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
But that's payment, I guess, mate.
Let's get cracking.
Let's get into it. So to make life easier for yourself, I've just made these little templates up there. It's just some particle board, and it's got a very, very rough. I don't know whether I should be showing this or not.
It's a template.
But someone had a bit of a big old gap there in the middle. But anyway, this I predominantly use in the center there, so that marks up the waste material. But like I said, I'll be able to salvage a bit of this, maybe get a spindle blank or something out of those sections there. And then this one here is my sort of bowl blank board, and that sits on that section there, and that's where we'll get that bowl. On this side, I've just increased, and that line's crooked, but I've just increased the depth of, here Ray, I've increased the depth of the bowl blank because I want a nice big sort of a big bowl blank on this side. So that side there measures 200 mil in depth, so 8 inches in depth. So
it's going to be a big
yeah, so we'll have to pull out my father-in-law's tool rest to sort of reach deep down into the bowl there, but nothing that can't handle. So we'll get into it. Hopefully it starts. Let's go. Probably a little bit overkill for the size of log. I'll use that bit there. What I do is I get it like this, and I chock it there. Gets it off the ground so the saw doesn't hit the ground. Yeah. So just then, I come all the way down to there, and then I stop. So I don't go all the way through, so it still holds it, and then we drop it at the last minute. Success! Have a look at that though. Wow. That split was running all the way through, see that? That's not too bad on that side.
There.
Yeah, that's it there, yeah. But we should be able to get some, depending on where that guy there, we could get some platters out of that. That grain is just dead straight. It's just, yep.
Happy?
Yeah, happy with that. This guy here, we should be able to get a bowl out of that. We might have to just trim that top down a little bit further just to get that full extent of the crack out. Hey, good girl.
Hello.
Good girl. Hey. Yeah, little monkey dog. This piece here on this side, because I went a little bit further. I don't know if you saw the line that I marked up. I went a little bit further that way. So this blank here, it's just fault free. It is just, it's beautiful. So we'll get a nice big 480mm diameter bowl blank out of that. Come here, come. What's this one? Ooh. Ooh. You say hello to everyone? No, don't give them the arse.
Ray.
Ray.
Hey, hello.
Ray.
Ray.
Ray. Hey. Hello.
Having fun in exploring, hey? Yeah.
So now we're going to start marking up the circles on this beautiful material, but I'll quickly talk about these set of, there, the compass here. It took me forever and a day to find where they were. I first saw them being used by Glenn Lucas, and they're by a company called La Cible and in France. And I'll put the website in the description below. They are the best set I've ever used. Real beautiful, really beautiful tool to have in your workshop. So yeah, real top-notch quality, La Cible, description. So what I'm doing now is just seeing where and how far I can get and the size of piece that I can fit on the lathe. But before I go on, I just want to let you know that I've just noticed, so this piece here is pretty much the cleanest one out of the two. So we'll just film this one today, but I've got this little crack just here, just coming through. So I know it's hard to see. I've got another little defect in here, but that might be him running through there. So we'll have to, when we put it on the lathe and put it on a face plate, make the tenon, when we turn it around to put in the chuck, we'll just have to shave the face down a little bit. Yes. Oh, and my pencil moved. Top quality equipment, trust me.
Just tighten them up, bro.
Oh, that's a whip.
Take two.
That's a whip and a half. There we go.
It's eucalyptus, it's hard to work with.
That's it. Trace it all the way around there. Even the sapwood's just beautiful on this.
So, if you're just, it's so hard to work with. What are you thinking? Are you going to be able to use this?
Depending on what it looks like and how big it is. So I'll try and run, so when we put it on the little setup that my father-in-law made over there, I'll just run the saw blade like pretty much just through there on that angle, and then just run the saw blade straight down there. A little bowl in there maybe, so 50's there. If we go the other way, yeah, so about 100mm little diameter little bowl if you wanted to. Yeah. You could turn them into little, geez, you could probably make some bookends out of them.
Should we film this, the grunting and the exertion?
Yes. Oh, shit.
Few moments later.
My father-in-law, this was made when we didn't own a bandsaw, so it's really simple. It's literally a log, and then it's screwed from underneath on a board, obviously, and then two sleepers underneath to give it plenty of stability. And well, I'll say that now, but this thing is massive, but it allows you to then work around the piece with your chainsaw. But you try and get that strap here on the short side. So if you've got a fair bit of material to move, you put it on the area where there is the least amount. So then you can get rid of majority of the weight first, and then it's much easier to spin. Bit blunt, teeth are a bit blunt. It's too blunt. I'll bugger the chain. I didn't want to have to use this. So it's always good to have the workhorse and a smaller saw, but just look at where the kids are, yeah. Get that into like a rough circle now. So it's worked out really well. Dad's old no bandsaw, no problem. I'll link the video in the description, but it worked out an absolute bloody treat. So
Looks amazing.
works out well, eh?
Yeah.
That sapwood there might open up a bit,
Yep.
but that's all right. That's all character. You can see the sap over here coming out. That literally looks like blood.
It does.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's not yours.
Just got to check. Crazy, eh?
Yeah. I was just checking to make sure that it wasn't you.
Wasn't us, yeah. Me too. So getting back to what Damien was asking earlier about making, what could we make from the offcuts of pieces? There's so many different ways and different things that you could make. Three things that come to mind is end grain boxes or boxes through the end grain material. This stuff is extremely hard though, so I might have to question the whole end grain box turning. But bowls, so little bowls from the side, little salt pinch bowls as well. Also birds. I've seen people make little birds. But yeah, there's so many different ways of what you could make from the offcuts of the material that we have. But the video is going to be super long, so I'm going to cut it here, and in the next section I'll show you how to process the bowl on the lathe, and then we'll get into some bowl coring. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all directly. Cheers.